All right, in the world of food and beverage, there's this one moment that can truly define a guest's entire experience. And you know what? It's not when everything's perfect, it's when something goes wrong. Today, we're going to break down the art of handling guest complaints. This is a skill that can turn what feels like a total disaster into a moment of absolutely incredible service.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're out for a great dinner, you're excited, and then the food comes, and it's just not right. Maybe the steak's overcooked or the soup is cold. It's that sinking feeling that can just ruin the entire evening.
But here's the thing. Mistakes happen. They're just inevitable. Even the absolute best restaurants in the world have off nights. But the response to that mistake, that is what separates a pretty good restaurant from a truly great one. It's this unexpected chance to win a customer for life.
To even begin, we've got to do a complete mindset shift. A complaint isn't some failure that you need to get defensive about. You have to think of it as a gift. It's like free consulting that shows you a crack in your system. And even better, it gives you a golden opportunity to prove just how much you value your customers.
So the goal here isn't just to fix the cold soup. No, it's bigger than that. It's to handle the whole situation so well that you actually strengthen that guest's loyalty. You want them to walk out of there feeling heard, feeling respected, and maybe even more impressed than if their meal had been perfect to begin with.
So, how do we actually do it? Well, it all kicks off with how you receive the complaint. And listen, these first 30 seconds, they are absolutely critical. Any instinct to be defensive has to just vanish. It needs to be replaced by one thing and one thing only: genuine empathy.
And this right here, this is not just a bland, "Oh, I'm sorry." This is a masterclass in how to de-escalate a situation. Look at how it's built. It hits 3 key notes. First, you acknowledge the problem, the inconvenience. Second, you validate their feeling. "I completely understand." And third, you promise action. "I'm here to help." That little sequence is so powerful.
Of course, your words are only half the story. Your body language does a ton of the heavy lifting here. This means you listen, and I mean really listen. Not just waiting for your turn to talk. You're making eye contact, you're nodding, your whole posture needs to scream, "I am on your team." You're not their opponent, you're their partner in getting this fixed.
Okay, after that crucial apology, it's so tempting to just jump straight to a solution. But you can't. Don't do it. Acting on half-baked information is such a classic mistake, and trust me, it can make things so much worse. First, you have to really understand the problem.
This simple 3-part method makes sure you get it right. First, you ask open-ended questions. You want the full story, not just a yes or no. Then, you repeat it back to them to confirm. This not only shows you were listening, but it also gives them a chance to add details. And finally, you jot it down. Such a small act, but it proves you're taking this seriously.
All right, now you've got a clear picture of what's wrong. It's time to solve it. But this stage is about more than just fixing the issue itself. It's about empowerment. We're talking about empowering your staff to take real action and empowering the guests to feel like they're back in control. You know, not every problem needs to go to a manager. Giving your team the power to handle smaller things, like remaking a dish, is fast and it shows you trust them. But they also need the judgment to know when to call for backup. And for those bigger issues, the key is a smooth handover. The staff member fills in the manager so the guest never, ever has to repeat their frustrating story.
Now this is a subtle but incredibly powerful move. Instead of just telling the guest what you're going to do, you offer a choice. That simple question, "Which would you prefer?" It's a game changer. It gives them back a sense of control right when they felt powerless, and it makes them a part of the solution.
And this all comes down to one big, non-negotiable rule: take ownership. It doesn't matter if the kitchen messed up or the bar was slow. To that guest, you are the restaurant. You have to take full, clear responsibility for fixing it. No blaming, no excuses. Period. So the problem's solved, the guest seems happy. We're done, right? Not yet. This final step is the one that gets missed all the time, and it's what separates good service from truly exceptional service. It's all about closing the loop. And, just as important, learning from what happened.
Following up is a must. A quick check-in after the new dish arrives, that's not just being polite. It shows you genuinely care about how things turned out.
And for a really major service issue, a personal call from a manager the next day, that is a huge statement. It tells the customer, you weren't just a problem we had to solve, you actually matter to us.
This brings us to the other half of following up, documentation. A simple log like this isn't about getting anyone in trouble, not at all. Its real job is to turn a single, one-off incident into a hard piece of data you can actually track and analyze.
So let's be crystal clear about this. This is not a shame file. It's a blueprint for getting better. This log is the foundation you use to build better training, smarter ways of working, and a stronger service culture across the board.
And that brings us to the final, and honestly, the most strategic part of this whole thing. How do we take these individual moments and use them to create a cycle of constant improvement so the same mistakes don't keep happening over and over?
This is where all pays off. Management doesn't just glance at these logs, they review them every day, hunting for patterns. Is the same dish always getting sent back? Is table 15 always facing a delay? Finding those trends lets you shift from just reacting to guest problems to proactively wiping them out with focused training and real changes to how you operate.
Which leaves us with this final thought to chew on. If one single complaint, handled with empathy and skill, leads to a permanent fix that makes things better for hundreds of future guests, was it ever really a failure? Or was it, like we said at the start, actually a gift? Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.